All right, I've been fishing the afternoons lately, but I kind of decided to change things up and make a morning trip. Got an incoming tide. I'm on a mission today. I want to see if I can find some speckled trout that have moved early into these marshes. It's a long shot, but I'm really hoping it pays off. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna be throwing an assortment of baits today. Seeing just tons of bait in the water. I'm gonna see if anything hits it. I might throw a top water, but I'm gonna start with this gold blade, 1/4 ounce death grip jig head, and shrimp creole matrix shad. It's a really good search bait, and the water's not perfect. It really isn't perfect. So this bait works well in water with a little stain to it. Well, just saw a shrimp pop. That's a good sign. I think our boat scared him. I don't think a fish was hitting him. I don't know if you can hear, but there's a bunch of mottle ducks going absolutely crazy. This sounds like fall. There they go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of them. And a teal. And a teal. Look at that. Late August and the blueing teal are down already. At least one is. All right, so much bait up top. I've got to throw a top water. You can see behind me, the sun's behind a cloud, but I think it's already up. So I'm gonna give this a shot while I can. This is a matrix mullet. Really, really great top water bait. Got a little half-hearted blow up. Ooh, that wasn't half-hearted. Ooh, you know what? I think it's a trout. I think it is a trout. Come on, dude. Let me see what you are. Yep, speckled trout. All right, there we go. There we go. That's what we wanted. That's what we came for. Came to check it out, see if these are in the marsh yet. And this guy hit like he really wanted it. Good to see. Something was following me. I knew it. Ooh. 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 Oh, he missed it. Did you see that fish jump entirely out of the water? Oh, goodness. That fish came entirely out the water. And he totally missed the bait. Definitely a speckled trout. So glad to see it, man. I'm so glad to see it. I'm not expecting to catch a lot of fish today, believe me. It's late August. Certainly these marshes are not going to be loaded with trout, but it's just so good to see that the migration has already begun. It's been a long, hot, miserable summer, and I'm so glad fall is on the horizon. Now that sun is up, don't know how much longer I can throw this top water. Definitely the most efficient thing would be throwing a cork with a voodoo or that blade. But man, if they're gonna hit top water, it's hard to put this down. Even just a bite here and a bite there. Look at that, look at that. That's a bass. Look. He got himself trapped up in that grass. I don't think he was a monster, but chasing all this bait in the air. Man, there's so much bait. Seen a couple shrimp, but it's mostly, seems to be pogies. Just little small pogies, maybe 2 inches long. Oh, there's another one. I should really be throwing that blade. Let me give that a try. Another bass. They're in that little cut. Let's see if we can keep the grass off this thing. Oh, he smoked me. I missed him. Dadgummit. He hit it so hard. He must have hit the blade. All right, our tide that was roaring in when we started fishing has come to a complete stop. And if anything, it's falling slowly. I definitely like a falling tide. However, it's got to move with more conviction than this. If it's moving at all, it's barely trickling. But it should pick up. Big tide range today, so that's good. All right, make a few casts with this Versamax bolt, the original bolt. So I want a quiet cork. Obviously, it's totally still. And I got a voodoo shrimp under it. It's a more efficient way of trying to catch those trout. Plus, it'll give me a clue as to what this tide is doing. And based on cast number 1, it's not doing a thing. All right, we've had some bad timing with this tide. Made a lot of casts without catching anything. Tried a variety of techniques. No bites since this tide has quit. So I think we're gonna move on and go try and find some more inspired tide. It's gonna rip out of here, there's no question about it, but it's taking its time turning around. All right, stop number 2. It looks like the water's still rising here, although I'm not positive. It's pretty water. I've got this holy jolly matrix shad on a 1/8 ounce death grip jig head that I'm throwing, but I might quickly switch this given the fact that it's gotten overcast, plus, you know, with this exposed hook. I don't know how grassy it is. Oh, there's a fish. Look at that. Ladyfish. All right. An auspicious start. But I tell you what, the ladyfish are out in full force. That always happens in the marsh late in the summer. You get a cool front, it drives them out. But until then, they'll hit just about anything you throw. Okay, yeah, the tide is definitely rising in here. No question. Would I prefer a hard falling tide? Yes, I would. But believe me, I'll take this rise over that dead tide we had at the last stop. Now, this is an exploratory mission, trying to see if we can catch any speckled trout. Believe me, I won't complain if a bass or a red hits. But you know, I talked about it in a recent video, how tough the red fishing has been here in South Louisiana. It's been really, really bad, coast-wide. You know, when the vast majority of people are all saying the same thing, obviously it's anecdotal, but you can crowdsource that as a fact when everybody's seeing the same thing. Of course, not everybody. Some people are like, oh, we're catching tons of fish. Yeah, okay. You're gonna have exceptions. But I talk regularly to a bunch of really, really good fishermen, and everybody's saying the same thing. It's tough, very, very tough. Something is going on with the redfish. So I brought my tagging kit. If I happen to run across any reds, believe me, I'm gonna tag and release them. I'm not keeping any until the situation turns around. If you wanna keep a couple of reds for dinner, certainly wouldn't fault you, but if you prefer to tag them and let them go, you get a tagging kit from taglouisiana.net. Tagging's a blast. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun seeing where these fish go. It's super addictive, I'll tell you that. I'm gonna make a few casts with an old favorite of mine, Blacklight Zoom Z-Craw. I used to fish this bait all the time. Kind of got away from it, but I know it looks good in the water. I did a pool test on it years ago. I used to catch just a ton of fish on this thing. Oh, shoot, something popped me. Stole my bait, dadgummit. A little bit of bad news. I only got one of these left. Hopefully it results in a fish. There he is. Oh, there we go. Just talking about the redfish, and now I got one. Oh, it's a pretty red too. It's a pretty red. Stay with that trolling motor. He was right at that Trenas mouth. All right, I'll come back and get you. I'll come to the back. You want to come to the back? I never felt him hit at all. Just looked down and my line was running. All right, feisty summertime red. All right, there we go. Ooh, and that hook came right out. Thank goodness I netted him. You stay right there. Let me get a tag for you. All right, so glad to see it. We'll see where this dude goes. Hopefully, if you catch him on the other side, just report that tag. There you go, good boy. All right, and luckily, I think we can salvage this Blacklight Zoom Z-Craw. We'll see if it holds together. You know, the tough red fishing in South Louisiana is especially unfortunate because the bass fishing in these marshes has absolutely gone to pot. The bass were hit hard by Hurricane Ida last August, almost exactly a year ago. There's some around, definitely. I've caught some bass since Ida, no doubt about it, but man, not anywhere near the numbers that we had before Ida. You know, what we're doing today, we should have accidentally picked up 5 or 6 bass. They're just not around. They'll come back for sure. No question about it, they will come back. Get 2 or 3 good years without any tropical events, marshes will be crawling with bass. You know, and that's part of the reason those bass never get very big. Every few years they get wiped out by tropical events. It's also why I don't think it's a problem to keep a few to eat. I think it's smarter for anglers to get to enjoy them than nature to just kill them all, because she will kill them all. She has no conservation ethic. So with few bass and few reds, marsh fishing has become a bit of a grind. It'll definitely pick up in the fall when the water gets cooler. More fish will get active. More speckled trout will join the reds and bass that do remain. So definitely some better days are ahead, no question about it. But right now, you gotta work for each bite, which I don't really mind. I kind of actually enjoy it. Certainly don't like terrible fishing, but it's not terrible. You just have to work a little bit. There's a fish, another red. Look at this, another red. All right, all right, all right, all right. Just like the last one, I did not feel him hit. I just saw my line running. Come on, dude, come on back this way. We got a spot lock us here. It is, look, it's 8 feet right here. He was on the bottom of this little bend, and I'm sure that black light zoom Z-Craw is not gonna survive this encounter. Hot bait of the day, and I got plenty in my shed. That'll do me a lot of good. This is a bigger fish than the last, for sure. I really gotta loosen that drag. It's super tight. And I really want to land this fish. And my motivation is strictly to get a tag in him, just so we can see what's going on with these reds. I'll tell you what, this is a hefty fish. He's a definite netter. He's not done yet, I know. He's just heading for the trolling motor. There you go. Oh yeah, that's a good fish. That's a 25, 26 inch red. All right. Yeah, that's a good fish. That's a really big red. Let's get a tag in him. That's a big red. All right, he's got his tag. Soon he's gonna have his freedom. Beautiful, beautiful fish. So happy to see it. Come on, guy. Come on, guy. Get your wits about you. He's exhausted. All right, there he goes. Took him a little longer to revive than most. He was exhausted, but he came to. All right, definitely a grind today, no doubt about it. It's kind of how it's been this summer. You just got to expect it. You got to manage your expectations. But I did see a couple of things that got me really excited today. First, obviously, the speckled trout are moving into the marshes. It's happening early this year, happened early 2 years ago. So it's really great to see. Literally every day, more and more trout will join the ones that are already here. I'll check them again with the next weather window and keep you posted. The baits that caught fish today, the Matrix mullet, really like this bait for early season speckled trout. In the spring, sometimes I throw a she dog, but this thing really produces. It sounds good, but it's not obnoxious like the she dog. That's a better bait on windy days or when the fish are really super aggressive. You wouldn't expect them to be super aggressive this time of year in the inside marshes. So that's what I like to throw. Other bait that delivered today, black light zoom Z-Craw. I got to restock my tackle box. This is the last one I got in here. Delivered some redfish today, and man, I tell you what, the way the redfishing's been, any redfish you catch is kind of like a trophy now. Better days are ahead, absolutely. So looking forward to fall. I saw blue-winged teal today. That's kind of a harbinger of fall, no doubt about it. I always love seeing those guys. So we'll be back at it soon. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. All right, we'll see you next time right here on the Marshman Mass On channel.